In this video, we're going to completely set up our Wii U's Virtual Wii to unlock its full potential. This is going to include getting the Homebrew channel on your Virtual Wii, installing WAHs, downloading apps directly on your system, and how to set up USB Loader GX and Nintendont to play Wii and GameCube games on your vWii. In the last video, we got our Wii U set up with the Aroma custom firmware, which is a prerequisite for this guide you're watching now. If you haven't done that yet, I will have the video linked in the description for you. But if you have that all set up, let's get started. So just like the last video, I will have a Google Doc linked down below, and if you click on it, it will take you to this page. And as always, there is a disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only. If you decide to follow the guide, you're following at your own risk. I do suggest you watch the video through once before doing it yourself, just to get a better idea of what is happening. There will be no mention or instructions on obtaining software illegally in this video. Because it's a video guide, make sure to read the description and check the pinned comment to ensure there has been no updates. So starting off, we're going to go to Compat Installer, head to the GitHub link provided. It'll take us here, and we are going to download Compat Installer for Aroma. It will download. We can exit that. Now we are going to click on the CIOS link. It'll take us to a Google Drive page, and just hit download in the top right. Once it downloads, we can exit there. Next up is the iOS 80 patch. Click on that link. It'll take us to the Open Shop channel. Scroll down, and under Patched iOS 80 Installer for vWii, download the file. Once that's good, exit that. And next up, head to WiiMod Lite. It'll take us to a GitHub link. And I'm just going to grab this WiiMod Lite zip file. This is the actual app for your vWii and WiiMod Lite Forwarders. This will add a channel on your vWii menu for WiiMod Lite. So we can exit there. Next up is the Open Shop channel, also known as the Homebrew Browser. This will allow you to download Homebrew apps and games directly on your vWii. Not actual games, but fan created and different ones like that, including a different version of Minecraft. But scroll down to Homebrew Browser zip and download that file. Once you're good to go, we can exit that. And next up is optional. So in this guide, I'm going to download USB Loader GX, which allows you to play Wii games on your Virtual Wii, and Nintendont, which will allow you to play GameCube games on your vWii as well. So if you want to do that now, follow along, and if not, you can always save this for later. But I'm going to go to the ULGX link. It'll take us to GitHub, where we can download the USB Loader GX zip file. We're good there, we can exit. And now Nintendont, it'll take us to the Open Shop channel again, and scroll down, grab the Nintendont.zip. We got the download, we're good to go. And now if you would like to grab a USB Loader GX or Nintendont channel for your Wii U menu. So this will appear on your Wii U menu, and it will lead all the way to the app in your Virtual Wii. It's pretty slick. But you can go to this page. I have a channel pack that I've created. It has different ones, but we're gonna grab the USB Loader GX, click on it and download. And then we're also gonna grab the Nintendont channel, so download that one as well. If you do play CTGP Revolution, I have a channel that works as well. Very slick. I use this channel the most as I play a lot of CTGP Revolution. But once you have those, we are good to go. We can exit there. And that is all of our downloads. We are ready to set up our SD card. So my downloads are on the left here, and my SD card is on the right. Yours should look very similar, but we are going to start off by opening up Compat Installer for Aroma. Now you will need an extraction software. I use WinRAR. You can also use 7-zip. But on your SD card, go into Wii U and Apps. And here we're going to grab this Compat Installer file and drag it inside. As you can see, it is a Wii U app, so it's going to be on your Wii U menu when you turn it on. But we can exit the zip file and delete it from our computer. Next up, let's open up Patched iOS 80. It's just going to have an apps folder, so make sure you go back to the root of your SD card. And we're going to grab this apps folder here and drag it onto the root, just like that. I'm just going to refresh this quick. Exit the zip file. You can delete it from your computer now. Next up is D2X CIOS installer, so open it up, grab the file and place it in the apps folder. We can exit the zip, delete it from our computer. Now we're going to open up WiiMod Lite. This one has an apps folder, so we're going to drag this one onto the root of our SD card. Good to go. We can exit the zip file and delete it. We'll skip the Wiimote Lite forwarders for now and go to Homebrew Browser, open it up, and we're just going to grab the apps folder here and drag it on the root of your SD card. Pretty repetitive, but make sure you get all of the files in the right spot. But you can exit that zip file, delete Homebrew Browser zip off of your computer, open up USB Loader GX, and yet again another apps folder. You guessed it, we'll put it on the root of our SD card. Exit the zip, delete USB Loader GX off of your computer, open up Nintendont. Last app we're going to put in there, so grab the apps folder and place it on the root of your SD card. Exit the zip file, delete Nintendont, and if we go into the apps folder, you should have all of these ready to go. But back on the root, now we are going to set up our forwarder channels. So on the root of your SD card, right click, click new, and create a new folder called WAD, all lowercase, just like that. We'll open up the Wiimote Lite forwarders zip file. It has a WAD folder, but it has two different ones. So if you hover over them, it has vWii, and then this one has a Wii. We are doing the vWii, so we need to make sure we get the vWii forwarder. Otherwise, it could cause issues with our SD card. So grab the vWii version and drag it into the WAD folder on your SD card that we just created. Exit the zip file. We can delete that from our computer. Now we're going to open up USB Loader GX, FS47, go inside of the first folder, and you should see WAD and Wii U. In this WAD folder, there is only one, and it is for vWii. So we can go back to this one, highlight Wii U and WAD, and drag that onto our SD card. Now the reason I have the Wii U forwarder and the vWii forwarder together on this is because the Wii U forwarder goes directly to the vWii channel. So you do need both for them to work. But I packaged them both into a zip file, so it's real easy. But we can exit that, delete it from our computer. And lastly, Nintendont forwarder channels, go into the first folder and highlight Wii U and WAD and drag it onto the root of your SD card. Exit the zip file. We can delete that from your computer, keeps it nice and clean. We're done with our downloads. And lastly, we need to set up our games. So as you can see on my desktop, I have Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart Double Dash. So we're going to set up a Wii game and a GameCube game so I can show you how to play them. So on the root of your SD card, right click and create a new folder. Just call it WBFS, all lowercase as well, and this is where we'll put our Wii games. Now if you're like me and have a modded Wii with a bunch of Wii and GameCube games on there, you can use those exact folders, which is what I'm doing. So I'm going to grab my Mario Kart Wii and drag it inside the WBFS folder. And if you're new to setting up games on your SD card, they do have to be set up a certain way, so you need the actual file inside of a folder, but I'm not going to go in depth on that. I do have other videos explaining everything, so if you want to learn more about that, make sure you check out my other videos. But now our Wii game is ready to go. If you do not have any backed up Wii games, don't worry, I will be showing you how to turn a physical disc into a digital one for USB Loader GX, but that'll all be on Virtual Wii, so stay tuned for that. Next up, for our GameCube games, we're going to right click and create a new folder. Just call it games, again all lowercase, and we're going to place our GameCube game inside. These are set up in a similar fashion but a little bit different. Again, I do have videos on how to set them up. But inside the games folder you have your game name as the first folder, and then inside you have your actual game renamed to game as a CISO or an ISO file. But that is everything to set up our SD card, so let's head over to the Wii U and get homebrewing. Make sure to eject your SD card from your computer and place it in your Wii U. Once you're at your Wii U menu, you're going to notice a few new apps, including Compact Installer, USB Loader GX, and Nintendo. Right now, we can't use these two apps right here because we don't have the vWii channels that they run to. So there's a few things we need to get done first. This will be one of the last steps. But we're going to start off by getting the Homebrew channel on the Virtual Wii menu. So head to Compact Installer and load it up. And you're going to see this screen. It's very, very simple. All you do is press A to install the Homebrew channel. And it's done. It's that fast. Press the home button to exit. Close our software and head back to the Wii U menu. Now let's head over to the Virtual Wii menu and finish everything up. If you weren't already aware, you do need a Wii remote and a sensor bar in order to do this. And we have arrived, and you should see the Homebrew channel ready to go right there. So let's head straight into it and get on with the tutorial. We're loaded in and you should see all of these apps. You can switch pages by plus and minus, but we're going to start off by going into patched iOS 80 installer. So click on the app and load it up. It'll give us this big warning. It'll take 30 seconds and then we will be able to continue. Alright, 30 seconds is up. Press any button to continue and it will patch iOS 80. Just like that, we are all done. Press A to exit. Should take us back to the Homebrew channel. And we are done with that one. Time to go to D2X CIOS installer. So click on that one. Let's load it up. And you should see this screen. So press A and we should have different options here. So for this part, we're going to be doing 3 different custom iOS installations. The first one, under settings, use the D-pad and go over to D2X V11 Beta 1 vWii. If you do not see this option, make sure that the small plastic tab on your SD card is pushed up because that will block it if it's not. If you've double checked that and you're still not seeing it, try re-downloading the app and trying again. But hopefully it works out. Under CIOS base, leave it at 56 and CIOS slot, leave it at 249. Once you have those, press A and it should install. The reason we're doing this is it is giving our Wii U the ability to read games off of an SD card. But once that's done, press A to continue. And now we're going to go up to CIOS base, change it to 57, and CIOS slot, we're going to change this one to 250. Once you have those, press A and it will install this one. We are good to go, press A, and now we are going to change the base to 58 and the slot to 251. This will be our last installation, so press A and we'll get started with that. And it was successful. This time we can just press B to exit. It should take us back to the Homebrew channel and we'll get going with the rest of the guide. Perfect, we have all of our iOSs installed and now we can head to the Homebrew Browser, which is the open shop channel. So click on it. If you use down on the D-pad, you can scroll through everything. It'll show you what the icons mean and the different controls, but just press load. And here you're going to want to make sure that your internet connection is good to go. If you did not change your DNS settings back to auto obtain, it could cause issues with this. Just give it a bit. Perfect. And now we are loaded in. So here you can get Homebrew apps, games, emulators, all sorts of different stuff. So right here, this is Cavex or Cavex is actually a Minecraft Homebrew game for the Wii, which is really cool. In the top hotbar, you can change to emulators. You can get PlayStation emulator, N64. I do have videos on a bunch of different emulators for the Wii and vWii, so make sure to check that playlist out if you are interested in that. You can even get media, including Wii MC. You can watch videos, Wii Radio. There's all different sort of homebrew software you can get. Let's get Cavex. But really all you do is press download and it will download it directly to your SD card. So if you do ever take your SD card out, you will be able to see this and, transfer it onto your computer or do whatever you want with it. You can also delete it straight through here as well. And there we go, it's now downloaded. So as I said, you can delete it from here, but just press B and you can get whatever you want. You can even get RuneScape, but when you're done, press the home button and you can return to loader and it'll take us back to the Homebrew channel. And just like that, there it is. You can now play a homebrew game without taking your SD card out. So that's pretty cool. If you didn't know, you can actually pop these bubbles that are in the background. It's kind of cool, a little fun mini game. But next up, we are going to install our WADs. So head over to WiiMod Lite. It might be on the second page, but load up WiiMod Lite. As you can see, it's for the Wii and vWii, so we're good to go. And then it should load into this page. So what we are going to be using WiiMod Lite for is the WAD Manager. So use down on the D-pad and go to WAD Manager, press A. We're going to select our source device. In our case, it's SD. And you should see any WADs that you put on there. So first, let's install the Nintendont WAD. Just press A on it. It'll bring you to this page. This is also how you uninstall them. So if you install them and later on you want to get rid of them, come here and you have an option to uninstall, as you can see. But we're installing it, so press A on that. It's really small, so it shouldn't take too long at all. There we go. We're ready to go. Press A. Nintendont is installed. Let's get USB Loader GX. Install. Done. And lastly, if you got this one, we're going to add the WiiMod Lite channel to the vWii as well, so install that one as well. Good, we are done in there, so press B, back to the menu, and then press the home button and it'll return us to the Homebrew channel. So now if we press the home button again, it'll give us this option. We can go back to the system menu and let's check out our new channels. There it is, WiiMod Lite, USB Loader GX, and Nintendont. So just like that, you have it all on your Wii menu. I'm just gonna move it around a bit. There, that looks a little bit cleaner. So now instead of going into the Homebrew channel, you can load USB Loader GX, Nintendont, and Wiimote Lite straight from the vWii menu. But now we're gonna set up Nintendont. We're doing this one before USB Loader GX because there is some settings we can change in USB Loader GX so that you can play your GameCube games on there. So we're gonna start off with Nintendont. So let's load it up. Very cool little starting screen, but let's press start. It'll look just like this. So you'll be able to select SD or USB. Now our games are on an SD card, but you can use a USB drive. So if you have one formatted as FAT32, you can also plug that one in. It won't be able to read any games if you format it to the Wii U. So Aroma has this little special feature where it blocks the format prompt window when you plug in a USB drive. So you can store them on either SD or US, but ours are on SD, so press A and there it is, Mario Kart Double Dash. It's very easy. If you click B, you can go into the settings and you will need to go down to mem card emulation and turn it on by pressing A. This will just allow you to save your games. Otherwise you can't. But there's all sorts of different settings, so you can play around with them if you want, but I'm going to leave them all default except for that mem card emulation. So I'm going to press B again and now we can load into the game. Now you can use a Wiimote and nunchuck, but I highly suggest using the classic controller. Just the settings seem to be a little bit better for that, where you can press the plus button, where you can see the controller mapping. But now that we successfully hopped onto a GameCube game, let's exit. You can just press the home button and it should exit the loader. And we're back on the menu. Let's head into USB Loader GX. And we'll get set up with our Wii games. And while it's loading, you might be prompted to press A to switch to SD mode. If you're like me and you set up a HDD or a USB formatted to the Wii U so you could install content to it, it may skip that part and we'll just have to change some settings once it loads. It is showing all of the NAND channels right now, but let's go to this page. But we want our Wii games to show up. But let's go into this button. Click OK on Wii Games and we get this error, so we got to go switch to SD mode. Let's go into the settings, hard drive settings, and we're going to turn SD card mode on. But that's good, we can go back. It'll restart USB loader. Let's click on this button in the hotbar and turn on Wii Games, and we should see Mario Kart Wii, if you put that game on. If you did not put a game on, I will show you how to install discs to USB Loader GX as well. Now, I don't like seeing all these NAND channels, so I'm also going to turn that off. So turn it off right there. And now it is just our Wii games and our GameCube games. And if you're wondering, you can also change your Nintendont settings from here. So we go into settings, loader settings. You can change different video settings for USB Loader GX. You can play around with that. Private server, you can change this to Wi-Fi if you plan on playing games online. As you can see, the loader iOS is 249. That's why we had to install that custom iOS. But if you keep going down, you can see GameCube settings. So it already has GameCube source auto and it detected Nintendont. And down here you can access these settings. Under Nintendont, you have all these different options right here, including the memory card emulation. And if you do have issues with the controllers you're using, you have different controller settings here, USB HID controller, native controller, etc. So you can play around with those and try to get the best settings for whichever controller you're using. But I do highly suggest using the classic controller. But let's go back and I'll show you how to install games. So I have Super Mario Bros. Wii right here, and I'm going to insert it into my Wii U. Hopefully our USB loader, yep, there it is. It just prompted us, it detected a disk, and all you have to do is press install. Now, if you already had it inside your Wii U and you're not seeing this right here, you can also press this plus button and it will ask you if you want to install game, press yes, and it will detect the disk. There we go, new Super Mario Bros. Wii. Just press OK on whichever game you're installing, and it will begin. And you will be able to access this on your SD card after if you want to take it out and put it on your computer as a backup. So it's a very cool feature built into USB Loader GX. But don't worry, if you don't have a disk, there are other ways to get games. I just can't tell you on here, so you're gonna have to join my Discord link down below if you want to ask about that. Please don't ask in the comments because I can't answer you. YouTube does not allow it. Boom, successful. We'll get a little prompt there. Press OK, and you should see it right here. It might reload a bit, but there we go. It is now on your SD card, whichever game you installed. So let's just make sure it works. There we go, we're loaded into the game. So just like that, we're playing Wii Games off of our SD card. Now when you press the home button, it will take you to the Wii menu, but if you would prefer it takes you back to USB Loader GX, we can change a couple settings in USB Loader GX as well. Let's go into your settings, go into loader settings, go down to where it says return to. Click on it, you will be able to select which channel it goes to. So if you want it to go back to USB Loader GX, that is UNEO. So just click on that. And now when you exit a game, it will go back to USB Loader GX. But with that all out of the way, let's go back to the Wii U menu and I'll just show you quickly that you can now use your Wii U USB Loader GX channel. These two channels, USB Loader GX and Nintendont, you can now use because they load into the vWii channel. So let's try it out. Let's load into USB Loader GX. It should go straight there. But there you go, your Wii U channel now works. Now one more thing I'd like to show you is you can go to this icon in the hotbar, and right now there is no image. So I'm going to show you how to get these covers as well. So if you go to this icon with the lines, display as the list, click the game case right here and we'll have an option to download the covers. So press OK and it will say found whatever missing files, press yes, and it should initialize the network and install the covers. And there we go, all images is downloaded successfully. Press OK. If we go, there we go, we have the covers. So let's go back to this page and it looks really clean, especially when you have a lot in there. But there you have it, you have Homebrew fully set up on your vWii as well. Of course there is a lot more you can do with it, so make sure you subscribe and keep an eye out on future videos. Check out my Wii U modding playlist. You can get anything like custom vWii themes, you can play hacks with Revolution, set up CTGP Revolution. There's so much you can do with a homebrewed Wii U's vWii. But if you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that like button, I really appreciate the support. And if you're into playing Mario Kart Wii online, make sure you subscribe and keep an eye out for my live streams, usually every weekend. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, stay funky and happy modding.